How to build a Buddhist altar. And if we offer, for example, fruits, for how long we keep the fruit in the altar and what we should do with that fruit. You eat it. Don't throw it away. So how do you build a Buddhist altar? A table, and you have a statue, and then you have some flowers in front of it, like what you see in here. And the flowers can be on the side or in the middle, but you must have the right table so that the table is high enough that when you stand in front of the altar table, you're not looking down on the Buddha. In other words, the Buddha at least should be in line when you're standing with your eyesight horizontally. You don't want to look down on a Buddha, right? So it should be a little higher. In other words, the best angle would be you have to look up a little bit in order to see the Buddha. But it doesn't have to be 20 feet in height. It's high enough so that you have to look up a little bit, and maybe the eyes of the statue should be horizontal to your forehead. Then that would be a good location, a good height. And don't put your altar table in front of the washroom. For example, sometimes in an apartment, our apartment is it's a bachelor apartment, you don't have a lot of space, and you have to put your altar table facing the washroom. That wouldn't be a good, respectful place. It's not a respectful place to put your altar table. So don't put it facing the toilet, the washroom. And hopefully don't put your altar table facing directly or inside the kitchen, because you are slaughtering fish, lobsters, crabs, and you want a Buddhist statue to be looking on you, slaughtering all these crabs and lobsters and shrimps. So don't put it in the kitchen. Don't put it near the kitchen. So how about bedroom? In the bedroom, if you're always changing clothes in your bedroom, that's not a respectable place to put your altar table. And some people have the habit of going naked. Oh, that's terrible! In front of a altar table, you have to change clothes. You're wearing shorts. You're wearing underwear, and you don't prostrate to a Buddha with underwear. In your pajamas. You're wearing your pajamas, you're wearing an underwear, and you're prostrating to a Buddha statue on an altar table, thinking that you are in Thailand, that you can be half naked in your shoulders and you can be naked down. It's not the right way to think about it. So there are certain places that you cannot put your altar table. The best is not facing kitchen and washroom, not in your private room, unless you have a curtain for it. So in other words, you build drapes. So whenever you're changing, since you don't have that much space, then you put a drape, a curtain. And then when you are doing a prostration and when you are chanting prayers, chanting your sutra, then you open up the curtain. That's another way of showing respect if you don't have any more space for the altar table. It doesn't have to be so long. Many years ago, how many years ago? Say 6 years ago, I received an email from a 7-year-old, And in the email he said, Reverend Guan Cheng, I would like to tell you a secret. I put the Buddha in my cupboard because my family is Christian. They don't like me to prostrate to Buddha. So I put my Buddha in a cupboard and it's confidential. Don't tell my family members. I don't know their family members. So every morning I prostrate to the Buddha before I go to school. What a cute little 7-year-old. Prostrating to the Buddha before going to school. And after school, he also prostrated to the Buddha. And he loved it. He said, I love the Buddha. And I believe in the Buddha. But my family believe in God. I don't believe in God. I believe in the Buddha. I don't understand why. So that's how he built an altar table inside a cupboard. Maybe you can do the same thing. I don't think the Buddha statue will be suffocated. As long as it's not a cupboard, it's called a closet. As long as the closet is clean, the closet is respectable, you make the closet very nice, and with a light, maybe put a light on top of it, and make it into a very nice altar closet. In Japan, space is so expensive. They put the whole house into a cubicle in which they have a TV set, in which they have a vacuum cleaner, they have a washer dryer, everything in a single 100 square feet. So on the table, consider a clean, bright, respectable closet. And fruits, for how long can you keep the fruits? As long as they don't go stale. Don't put it in there for too long. Change your fruits every few days, or flowers. And how do we get rid of them? You get rid of them inside your stomach if it's still okay. If it's not okay, just you have to throw them away. You don't need fruits to be in there. You just put flowers, yes?
Yes, I'm just wondering, the 7-year-old,
Yeah?
the family that doesn't believe in Buddhism,
Yeah.
is it from the previous life?
Have you ever seen that movie called Living Buddha? There was a film produced about 25 years ago, and there was a monk who died in Tibet. And before he died, and he said, "Look for me in New York." Then all his disciples were looking for him in New York, and he found him. A child who became a vegetarian at the age of 6. And he said that he wanted to go back to his own country, and he believed in Buddhism. And he said he was a monk so and so in previous life. There were people. There were monks who passed away, and before he passed away, he told his disciples that he will be reborn in somewhere, and go and get me, and bring me back for the education, and I want to continue the practice and continue to promote Buddhism. A lot of cases like that. Everybody, not just you, not just me, everybody has a previous life. What you are going through now, whether it's sufferings or fortune or misfortune or sickness or wellness and health, is because of what you have done in your previous life. In the Chinese language, 欲知前世因，今生受這事. If you want to know what have you done in your previous life, what are you experiencing, is the result of what you have done in your previous life. For example, why did somebody get a divorce? You divorced your husband in your previous life unmercifully. You abandoned him. Or vice versa. You have done. Why were you poor in this life? You cheated a lot of people with a lot of money, and you owe them money. Why do you have to repay? Why do you love your son or your daughter? Or why do you love your daughters much more than you love your son? Because you owe your daughter more money than your son, probably. In terms of money or in terms of relationship. It's all payment and repayment. It's all balancing the general ledger of karma. Maybe in previous life he was a monk, or he believed in Buddhism, and this temple has been here for 38 years, close to 40 years. I believe that there were some who passed away in previous lives, came back. I have a lot of kids who told his mom that, I love to go to the temple. I don't know why, I love to go to the temple. Previously, maybe that old lady, that old gentleman who passed away had a tablet upstairs. 祖先年位 already. I don't know, maybe your mom and dad who frequented this temple when they were alive, they came back as somebody that we don't realize. Life and death is continuous. So it happened. That happened many instances like that, uncountable instances like that. And there are also instances where there are prodigies, child prodigies, that they can play Beethoven at the age of 6, and he has never learned it before. He could sing like an opera singer, he didn't learn it before, because he remembered from previous life's talent that he had. And he was so much in his talent that when he died, he still brought the talent forward to this life. And I know that there was, if I want to go more and more into it, I know that there was a singer, a female singer, she was born in Thailand, and then a Thai, she didn't speak a word of Chinese. And then many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, his mom and dad came to Hong Kong for a tour, and they bought cassettes or DVDs of what's the name of this singer who passed away, Teresa Tank, Dang Lai Guan. Have you ever heard of it? Teresa Tank? Teresa Tank passed away at the age of about 50 or 56, 50. And Teresa Tank passes away. Okay, that's another side of it. Going back to this little girl, the Thai girl, his parents came to Hong Kong. His parents bought all these Teresa Tank's cassette, DVDs, and brought home. A little girl brought as a gift. A little girl liked singing since 3-4 years old, and he listened to this Teresa Tank songs, and he was able to sing every one of these songs in the cassette after hearing it 3 times only. And she didn't learn the language at all. How could a little girl of 7 or 8 could learn Chinese songs without knowing Chinese only 3 times, and she could pick it up and sing? And she said, I love Teresa Tank's songs. And she kept on singing and singing and singing. And right now, she's 19 years old. She has become a professional singer, touring everywhere in the world, especially in Hong Kong, all full house in the concert. She was able to sing exactly like Teresa Tank. Even the gesture, even the little hand gesture, the little shake of the hair, or the crying, the moving, everything, 95% resemblance. And they all believe that she is a reincarnation of Teresa Tank. And she was able to speak Chinese so well, 普通话 so well, after learning it for 3 years in Beijing. She was later brought to Beijing to learn the language, and she didn't know a word of Chinese. And now she talked like as if she has been living in China all her life. Isn't that a miracle? And his name is Longalaimu. Go on YouTube and type in Longalaimu. Then you're just listening to Teresa Tank's. Huh? What? I don't know how to spell Longalaimu. Well, we'll give you the Chinese. So, you can write the Chinese in there. So I don't know. Try to can San Ru Fashi help him out to find out?
I think you just put the words previous life of Teresa Tang.
Yeah, previous life of Teresa Tang, T-E-N-G, Teresa Tang, T-E-R-E-R-A. Teresa Tang, and that girl, a 19-year-old girl, will show up. And she's touring everywhere, singing Teresa Tang's song, exactly like Teresa Tang. A reincarnate of Teresa Tang. Even the way she talk, the way she walk, everything is the same. And that's a miracle. How could any Thai girl, without learning Chinese, could sing a Chinese song after hearing it 3 times? And not just one song. 25 songs. She's become very famous. She came from a poor family also. A poor family. Now she's becoming rich because she was singing all over the world. Thousands of these cases about reincarnation. Go on to YouTube. Now the good things about YouTube now, Google now is actually, you can actually get into cases of reincarnation. It tells you a lot about reincarnation cases. Most people now believe in reincarnations. Very few people don't believe in it. It becomes very popular. And there are also movies about this. Traveling into future, space. What kind of movies? We never go to movie theaters. I don't know. I was just told. Avenger? Have you seen that movie, Avenger? It's about traveling into space. The Buddha talked about it a long time ago. 1 day and 1 night in the first level of heaven is equivalent to 500 years in this world. So if you travel there and come back, all your ancestors are gone. And then you're still young. If you travel there 19 years of age, you travel to maybe Toshida heaven, and somehow, and then you do your prostration to Maitreya Bodhisattva, and then I'll come back immediately. And then you go back down here if you have a chance. Then all your family members were gone. None of them left. Because 1 day is equivalent to 500 years. You don't even know where your home is, but you're still young. So there's a lot of scripts written about this time dimensions. We're living in a 3-dimensional world, but there's more than 3 dimensions. There are many dimensions. That's what the Buddha was talking about. So if you still don't believe in what the Buddha was talking about, you must have not seen anything about the Buddha's information. The Buddha talked about different species and different paths of reincarnation. Animals, house of victims, people in heaven. There's so many people in heaven, And each heaven is a little different. First level, second level, third level. There's 28 levels. In some level of heavens, they don't need to eat food like you and me. They live on meditation's energy. And they communicate in one heaven communicate in fragrance. The whole heaven has a kind of fragrance that is beyond description. Not any fragrance like this world. They communicate in fragrance. And they communicate in wavelengths, in brains wavelengths, not in sound. Sound communication is not subtle enough. They communicate with the mind-to-mind communication. I can go on and on. Let me go to the next questions. If we start with a bad thought, but we let it go before speaking or through body action, is it still bad karma? It only becomes influential karma when you carry it into action or speech. Otherwise, it's a very, very slight seed karma, which means a thought becomes a seed in your immeasurable acreage of land. Immeasurable. billions of miles of land. I'll just give you an example. You're only a seed, a thought of seed of goodness, of wholesome behavior, of unwholesome behavior. It's just a seed. And that seed is not very significant. Unless you carry that seed into action, that becomes very strong karma. That would bring you to suffering. That seed will only be just a seed. But the seed will sprout into action if you always think about it, if you always agitate on it. For example, if you have a seed of compassion, I like to give out. For example, I like to be a tour guide. I like to give out my compassion to all those visitors on site. I like to help them out. I like to give a talk so that they can benefit from the Buddhist teaching. You have a seed of giving out, that seed will sprout into action. So always germinate, cultivate good seeds, not bad seeds. Always sow seeds of good thought, wholesome thought, not bad thought. Not thought of selfishness, not thought of sensual pleasures, not thought of intoxication, thought of killing, lying, fabrications, cheating. No, none of those thoughts. Thought, wholesome thought, you need to put in there. So thought is just a thought, it's a seed in the karma, not inferential karma. Second, how do we contemplate the 12 links? I find it's difficult to do. Well, it's difficult to do, of course, otherwise everybody will become a Buddha immediately. It's difficult, but it doesn't mean that it's a bit difficult, you don't have to do it. You're slowly carrying out the practice and carrying out the contemplation. I watch a lot of your videos on YouTube. I love them all. Oh, thank you very much. I got a lot of people who watch me on YouTube. I have hundreds of those on YouTube over the 25 years. I have hundreds of them. And surprisingly, for example, on the Diamond Sutra, the Cantonese Diamond Sutra, I have more than 300,000 on one episode. So counting the 13 episodes, more than 1 million on just one sutra. We'll be doing more and more on YouTubes. And not just in English and Cantonese, but we're doing more and more in Putonghua, the Mandarin language. So that's the reason why I've been trying to polish up on my Putonghua, on my Mandarin, because it's not easy to give a talk on a language that is not your mother tongue. But I'm trying to, I'm doing a little better and better every day. I've been giving talks in English, and I've been building up a lot of YouTubes on English side, and I receive a lot of good comments from the English side of the English language YouTube. I think they were seen all over the world, in Malaysia, especially in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Thailand, because they pick up the English language, especially in Singapore and Malaysia. I'll be going to Malaysia anyway, sometime in November, invited by the Buddhist Association in Malaysia. I'll be giving lectures, a series of lectures in Kuala Lumpur and in Penang, because they've seen my YouTube lectures and they really like it. And so I'll be going over there too. I gave a lecture in Singapore last year, 5 lectures, 2 in English, 1 in Cantonese and 1 in Putonghua. So, any more questions? Are you from Malaysia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Are you from Malaysia? No? So, yeah, are you from Kuala Lumpur? Huh? Penang. No, that's good. You can join us for sure. Yeah, you can join us for sure, Penang. Yeah, Penang. I've never been to Penang before. We went to the 西方寺，係咪啊？極樂寺。市區 downtown Penang. I heard that Penang is a beautiful place. It's an island, a lot of palm trees in there. Shangri-La Hotel, just next to Shangri-La Hotel. Yeah. So you can join me. Yeah, you can join me, but they're not going to pay for your hotel though. You're on your own. Your family isn't there. That's good. So that's good. We need your support over there. November 4th. We're going on November the 4th. Tell your relatives so that they can also go to listen to the lectures. 5 lectures, one in Cantonese and one in 普通话，好吧？ English in Kuala Lumpur. English in Kuala Lumpur one day because the Buddhists in Kuala Lumpur said that a lot of Theravada monks have been giving English lectures in there. A lot of English lectures from the Theravada monks. They like a Mahayana monk, a Chinese monk, to give an English lecture. That is rare. That is not too common for a Chinese monk to give English lectures. So they want not from a Theravada monk. They want to know about meditation from a Chinese monk, learning meditation from the Mahayana Chinese. I'm planning to give meditation on Samatha and Vipassana. Zhiguan, because that is Chinese, Zhiguan is a Chinese summary of what Sakyamuni Buddha was talking about in meditation. So that's what I plan to do. So there's a lot of traveling to do, and you're welcome to come with us, and I'll see you in Malaysia, in Penang. And yeah.